I'm curious to see how his power is gonna be at 150. If he still has some power, then this fight could be a little interesting. But whoever was in charge of giving Conor Benn $15 million and then chose Regis Prograis as an opponent did himself a huge disservice. But nonetheless, this is a fight and this is the prediction that I'm giving. Boom! Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, I'm giving my fight prediction for the upcoming fight between Conor Benn and Regis Prograis. Now, Regis Prograis is a former junior welterweight champion, and Conor Benn has yet to reach that status, but those days were long ago. Regis Prograis, at one point, was the #2 junior welterweight in the world, right behind Josh Taylor, until Josh Taylor beat him in unanimous decision, and then he lost his belt when he regained it again to Devin Haney, and since then hasn't looked the same. Now, in his last fight versus Joseph Diaz, who was a naturally smaller guy who should probably be fighting at 135 or 130, he didn't look so good. He actually was getting visibly hurt against a guy who doesn't seem to be a big puncher, especially at 140, and that's not a good sign going into this fight. But one thing I do want to add now is that this fight is taking place at 150 pounds. Regis Prograis hasn't fought at 150 yet. He's been fighting at 140 for a long time, so maybe him going up in weight will give him a little bit of extra energy, a little bit of extra punch resistance that he probably didn't have at 140 anymore at this stage in his career. Conor Benn, on the other hand, hasn't fought at 150 since 2024, early 2024. So over 2 years since he's fought at this weight, because he intends to fight at 147, and his last 2 fights were both in the middleweight division. So if you are feeling confident in Regis Prograis, I would wait, if you're going to place a wager, until Friday, of the day of the weigh-in, and see how he looks. If Conor Benn looks a little drained and Regis Prograis looks fresh and brand new, then you might want to wager on him if you're feeling that way. But I'm going to give reasons why I don't think that's such a good idea. Although he might have been weight drained against Joseph Diaz, his style of fighting is very upright. He keeps his chin up in the air, and he has this thing where he doesn't keep his shoulders up to block the incoming punches in case he has to dodge. So he throws his jab like this. And as you can see, there's just so much opening up here in this style of fighting. And because he doesn't duck and dodge as much as he used to, he never really used to do that too often, but he does it much less now. I just think that's a recipe for disaster against somebody like Conor Benn, who is actually a really good boxer. I don't know if he'll win a world title at 147 or 154. But he is a really good boxer, and he's fast and he's explosive. In his last 2 fights against Chris Eubank Jr., he showed 2 different versions of himself. In the first fight, he showed somebody that wanted to go in after the kill, and he was just on Chris Eubank Jr., and I think Chris Eubank Jr. took advantage of that and was able to counter him and stick the jab in him as he was leaping in. But in the second fight, which I'll give, Chris Eubank Jr. might have been a little weight drained himself, but doesn't take away from the fact that Conor Benn made adjustments and fought a different style, a more composed fight. He wasn't in such a rush to hurt Chris Eubank Jr., and he was actually using patience and timing to get him and actually hurt him. And that's how he was able to knock him down in the last round of the fight. So he showed 2 different styles, and I think both of those styles are really bad for Regis Prograis at this stage in his career. If somebody could just remind him to duck and dodge a little bit more, I really think that Regis Prograis could do himself a big service by implementing those techniques. Now, who's going to win this fight? There's rumors that Regis Prograis is currently working through an injury in this fight. If that is true, then without a doubt, I am favoring Conor Benn. And even with that, I'm still favoring Conor Benn because he keeps his chin up in the air too long for somebody as fast as Conor Benn to not take advantage of it. Because Conor Benn is the type of fighter that once he hurts you, he just jumps on you. At one point in his career, that might go against him. Right? Mark my words, at one point in his career, he might stun somebody and think they're more hurt than they actually are. And he might rush in there and get caught cold. And that's always going to be a possibility when he starts fighting at this top level like he's trying to do right now. Will Regis Prograis be able to capitalize on that? I'm not too sure, and I'm honestly not confident in it. I do hope that Regis Prograis makes the adjustments to make this fight more competitive, because I'm curious to see how his power is going to be at 150. If he still has some power, then this fight could be a little interesting. But because I've seen better days on him, and I think Conor Benn is just now growing into the fighter he's going to become, I have to favor Conor Benn. If he has a nutritionist helping him get down to 150, then even more reason. I'm favoring Conor Benn by stoppage in rounds 6 through 8. And do I think the first couple rounds will be exciting? Yes. But I also think because Regis Prograis keeps that chin up in there, he's going to get stunned. And there's even a possibility for early stoppage. I'm just giving Regis Prograis the benefit of a doubt because he's a tough dude, that he's going to outlast those first couple rounds and eventually get stopped. You know, so that's my prediction, guys. I'm picking Conor Benn by TKO for a $15 million paycheck. My man, this is going to be the easiest $15 million anybody's ever made, all right? Like, this is ridiculous, the amount of money. Whoever was in charge of giving Conor Benn $15 million and then chose Regis Prograis as an opponent did himself a huge disservice. But nonetheless, this is a fight and this is a prediction that I'm giving. Conor Benn by TKO, guys. That's it for this video, guys. If you like boxing predictions, like and subscribe to the channel. Until the next one, boom, I'm out.